Hi, my name is Stephanie and welcome back to my channel. As you've probably figured out by this title, I went to the University of Oxford. I did my master's there and I had an absolute blast. I had a great time, and over, I don't know to say couple of years, but over the past year and a half, I have made a couple of explained videos about certain aspects of student life within Oxford. And one of them has been missing, which is Oxford in general. What is Oxford? And I'm going to explain that to you today, what Oxford actually is. So first of all, to start way zoomed out, Oxfordshire is a county and the largest city, if I'm not mistaken, is Oxford in the county of Oxfordshire. And in the city of Oxford, you will find the University of Oxford. And this standard sort of question that students sometimes get asked by tourists who are wandering around in the city of Oxford is, where's the university? Well, that's the thing. The university is sort of everywhere in Oxford. There is not just one building that we go and it's like, oh, that's Oxford right there, that one, that's Oxford. No, it's everywhere. Oxford is everywhere. It's so interwoven in the city. It's very much part of the city as much as it actually is the city. So it's a very weird way of how the university is sort of structured. It's different, and one of the reasons that we have sort of a connection with the city centre in terms of building is the fact that we have colleges. We have 46 of them, 46 colleges, and these colleges play a very important and central role in student life. It's generally where students live, eat, sleep, study, and get tutorials. And everyone in Oxford is part of a college. As an undergrad, if you apply to the university, you will apply directly to a college. And if you are a graduate student going to the University of Oxford, you will first apply to the university and then they will give you a place at a college. So that works sort of the other way around, but every single student, apart from some very, I don't want to say weird, but some exceptions, obviously they exist, there is always exceptions, it's Oxford, but in general 99% of the students are part of a college. And yes, you can actually choose your college, however the decision is not totally up to you. So like I said, as an undergrad you will apply to a college and that college will then either admit you or reject you as an applicant, or they will put you in a pool where other colleges can decide if they want to take you in. So in the end, yes, as a student you do have sort of a say, but also not entirely, because if the college that you initially applied for maybe doesn't have enough spots open in the particular degree that you applied for, at that college they will put you in a pool, and there might be a different college that is like, oh hey, yeah, we want to take him, and therefore you end up at a college that you did not previously specify in terms of a preference. And for graduates it's the same. You can list a preference for one college that you want to be considered by, but by the point that you've already been accepted by the university, your application will then be sent to your first choice college, and they will have a look at it, and whether or not they want to take you in, they decide it then and there. And if they don't want to take you in, again, you end up in a pool, and at that point you have to get a college because you've already been accepted by the university. So that's where sort of the admission system is a bit different, but every single student is part of a college. Another one is, what is the Oxford Union? So it's actually not a student union. The Oxford Union is the debating society, and they host a bunch of interesting speakers, and it's something that you can become a member of as a student at the University of Oxford. We also have a student union, which is where all of our societies and clubs are, well, based, not really physically, but they're based there. That's their platform essentially. Then we also have central libraries. You should probably know the Red Cam, which is the most iconic building in Oxford. It's a library, and it's a central library. It's not part of any particular college, so any student who is affiliated with the University of Oxford can use the RATCAM as a library to study in. And as a college student, you're a member of your specific college, you cannot very easily go into another college's library, if that makes sense, because you're not part of their college. You can always ask the librarian if you need a specific book and only that particular college has that book, or you can always figure a way out, but in general you are not supposed to use the libraries that are part of other colleges because you just don't have access to them. But you do have access to a bunch of central libraries, and there are a bunch. I would use the Taylor quite often because that would be more of the humanities library, so that was the library that had the books that I generally needed. But I also went to the RATCAM, of course, because you have to study in the RATCAM at one point. It's the iconic Oxford building. And we also have the Old Bot, which is right next to the RATCAM, and the Old Bot also houses the Duke Humphrey Library, which is probably the most gorgeous library in the entirety of Oxford. It's where a couple of Harry Potter scenes for films. It's very pretty. And apart from more old historical libraries, there's also a bunch of new ones. That is the Social Sciences Library, which has a cafe, for example. So a lot of students find it a chill spot to study there because it has a cafe on site. And there's a bunch of options that you can go to in terms of libraries, whichever one is maybe closest to you or just suits your study needs. And then, like any other university, we also have departments. So besides Oxford colleges, Oxford libraries, we also have departments. So mine is Medieval and Modern Languages, and they have their own building near Wellington Square. And normally we would go in there for seminars and teaching moments, and some, not a lot, but some professors have their office in Wellington Square, but generally professors have their office in the specific colleges that they're based in. So beside the college buildings, the libraries, we also still have departments, and we also still function as a normal university. Furthermore, Oxford is on a very different term system. So we have 3 terms. It's Michaelmas, Hilary, and then Trinity is the 3rd one. Normally the terms are all 8 weeks. For graduate students, sometimes they're more like 10 weeks, but the teaching moments are all 8 weeks. So it's a very short year. It's just 8 weeks of teaching in 3 different blocks. That is a huge part in between, which we call the vacation, where you don't necessarily live in college because you actually have to move out of college if you live in college. So if you're an undergraduate living on site in your college, you most likely will have to move out during the year, during the vac, because the colleges often are used as conference center or to host alumni or host other events or weddings even. So every single student who lives in college generally has to move out each term. If you don't live in your college building like I did, I lived in graduate housing, I did not have to move out. And generally in graduate only colleges, there is not really as much of a thing as for forcing people to move out, because graduate degrees, especially PhDs, are more of like year-round projects, so they're not gonna move people out in essence. But for undergrads, you're going to have to move out. And lastly, people often ask, oh, is Oxford a private university? And it's actually not. Surprise, surprise. Oxford is a state university, which means that it has a cap on the amount of tuition fee that they can ask from their home students. And it also means that they get a certain amount of state funding, if that makes sense. But Oxford in a way is a special case because Oxford is a very, very rich university, and lots of colleges are their own sort of little governing bodies. And some of them have huge endowments, other ones not so much. So it's a bit of a complicated situation, but in essence, it is a state university. It's not a private university, but it's a bit of a different university that receives very generous gifts from people. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this explained a bit more about Oxford in general, and I hope I did some myth busting for you. Anyways, thank you so much for watching my video, and I hope you liked it. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I see you in the next video.